Christmas Day, 1969. A Tokyo department store. A gold watch rests on a square of velvet, spotlit under the department store fluorescents, surrounded by Christmas shoppers who cannot afford it. A pair of white-gloved hands places it in a display case and steps back. The watch costs as much as a Toyota Corolla. Most people walking past do not stop. That is not the point. The point is what is inside it. No balance wheel, no hairspring, no escapement. Inside this watch, the Seiko Quartz Astron 35 SQ, a sliver of quartz crystal oscillates 8,192 times every second. It divides its signal down through a chain of electronics to a single, metronomic pulse, and drives a stepper motor with total indifference to temperature, humidity, altitude, and the character of the man wearing it. It is accurate to 5 seconds per month, roughly 100 times more precise than the finest mechanical chronometer Switzerland has ever produced. The tag inside its presentation box reads, "Someday all watches will be made this way." Seiko is right. Nobody in the Jura Mountains of Switzerland is reading the box. To understand what is about to be destroyed, you have to understand what it is. The Jura Arc, a crescent of mountain towns running across northern Switzerland from Geneva toward Basel, is not merely a region where watches are made. It is a region that exists because of watches. Towns like La Chaux-de-Fonds, Saint-Imier, and Le Locle have organized their streets, their economies, their families, and their sense of who they are around the mechanical watch for centuries. In 1970, the Swiss watch industry employs 90,000 people spread across 1,600 companies. Most of those companies are small. A family business in a stone building might make only a single component, one type of mainspring, one cut of jewel bearing, and ship it to an assembler 2 valleys away. The whole industry functions as one organism with 1,600 interdependent cells. A master watchmaker in this world does not build a watch the way a factory builds a product. He regulates one. He listens to the tick rate. He feels the rhythm of the balance wheel through his fingertips and adjusts it by fractions so small that no instrument can measure the correction. Only the ear can confirm it. His knowledge lives in his hands, and in 30 years of accumulated attention to objects too small to examine without magnification. It is the kind of knowledge that cannot be written down. And in 1970, with Switzerland holding more than 50% of the global watch market and the order books full, there is no reason to imagine it will ever need to be replaced. The engineer who designs the Astron is named Kazunari Sasaki of Suwa Seiko Sha. He is one of a team working through the 1960s on a problem that has stumped the precision instrument world for decades: how to put a quartz clock inside a watch small enough to wear on a human wrist. The obstacles are real. Quartz crystals oscillate with extraordinary accuracy, but the electronics needed to exploit that accuracy are large, fragile, and hungry for power. Getting them small enough and stable enough to run on a wristwatch battery requires a decade of engineering whose outcome, at every stage, is uncertain. Here is the thing that Switzerland will spend the next decade trying to forget. In 1962, a consortium of approximately 20 Swiss manufacturers, including Patek Philippe, Omega, and Longines, forms the Centre Electronique Horloger in Neuchâtel and gives it one mission: build a Swiss quartz wristwatch before anyone else does. By 1967, they succeed. Their Beta 21 prototype breaks every accuracy record at the Neuchâtel Observatory competition. The Swiss have the technology in their hands 2 full years before the Astron ships. They choose not to commercialize it aggressively. That choice is not made by fools. It is made by men who stand at the edge of 1,600 companies, 90,000 jobs, and centuries of accumulated craft, and who cannot bring themselves to make all of it obsolete. Seiko has no such hesitation. When the Beta 21 arrives at the Basel Watch Fair in April 1970, 4 months after the Astron's debut, Swiss manufacturers display it in gold cases at luxury prices. A premium novelty. A demonstration, not a mass-market product, not a threat to the existing order. Seiko does not treat the Astron as a novelty. It treats it as a beginning. By 1973, Seiko has pushed quartz watch prices into the middle market. By 1977, Casio drives digital quartz below $50. The precision that cost the price of a car in 1969 now costs less than a dinner out. A quartz crystal oscillates at 32,768 Hz, more than 8,000 times faster than the finest Swiss mechanical caliber. Against that number, a hairspring has no argument. The Swiss industry's response is almost perfectly structured to fail. It is fragmented, 1,600 companies with no single authority able to make decisions for the whole. It is psychologically committed to mechanical craft at the precise moment the market stops rewarding craft over accuracy. And it is institutionally incapable of cannibalizing its own product, because doing so means destroying the identity and the livelihoods of every person in every workshop in every valley between Geneva and Basel. One Swiss executive, quoted in the trade press of the period, diagnoses the problem with devastating precision. There is, he says, a lack of entrepreneurial personalities with courage, imagination, and vision. He is right. He is also describing himself. It does not happen overnight, but once it begins, nothing stops it. Through the mid-1970s, Swiss watch exports start to fall. By the early 1980s, they are running at roughly half of their 1974 peak. Mechanical watch exports collapse from 40 million units in 1973 to 3 million a decade later. Swiss global market share falls from over 50% in the 1960s to just 24% by 1978. By 1977, Seiko is the world's largest watch company by revenue. By 1978, quartz watches globally overtake mechanical watches in sales for the first time. The numbers on the page do not carry the weight of what is happening on the ground. Between 1970 and 1983, 1,000 Swiss watch companies disappear. More than 60,000 jobs are gone by 1988. In the towns of the Jura Arc, La Chaux-de-Fonds, Saint-Imier, Le Locle, the factories close one after another, and the population follows. These watchmaking towns lose on average 8% of their people between 1970 and 1980. That is a number that, in the previous 100 years of Swiss history, had no precedent. People do not merely lose work, they lose the places their grandparents built. Brands in operation since the 18th century vanish or are sold for salvage. By the early 1980s, the two largest Swiss watch conglomerates, Asweg and SSIH, the owners of Omega, Tissot, and Longines, are technically insolvent. Foreign buyers are circling, offering to acquire those century-old names for fractions of what they once commanded. The men and women on the benches of the Jura, people who can regulate a movement by sound alone, whose knowledge of mechanical precision is so refined it exists only inside their fingertips, find that there is no bench left to sit at. By 1980, the Swiss banking community has made its decision. It commissions a Lebanese-born Swiss management consultant named Nicholas Hayek to study the wreckage of Asweg and SSIH and to recommend an orderly liquidation. Hayek is a mathematician by training, a rationalizer of failing enterprises by trade. He arrives expecting to write a verdict. He refuses to write it. Instead of recommending liquidation, Hayek proposes a merger of the two conglomerates into a single entity carrying Omega, Longines, Tissot, Breguet, and Blancpain under one roof. He acquires a controlling stake in the merged company himself. Then he does something that strikes the Swiss watch establishment as somewhere between audacious and insulting. He announces that the rescue of Swiss luxury watchmaking will begin not with Omega, but with a 50-franc plastic watch made almost entirely by robots. On March 1st, 1983 in Zurich, that watch is unveiled to the press. It has 51 parts where a conventional watch has 91. It is sealed by ultrasonic welding and cannot be repaired. It comes in colors that no Swiss watch company has previously considered dignified. It is named the Swatch, a compression of second watch and Swiss watch, and it is not designed to beat Seiko on accuracy. It is designed to beat Seiko on personality, on the idea that a watch can make you feel something that a circuit board, however precise, cannot. The Swatch sells 1 million units in its first year, 23 million by 1986, 100 million by 1992. The cash funds the survival of the mechanical luxury names the banks had been preparing to sell to foreign bidders. Hayek doubles the prices on Omega and Longines, and orders the words Swiss-made printed on every dial, redefining those two words from a description of origin into an argument about what a watch is worth. Switzerland survives. But what survives is not what existed before December 25, 1969. The reinvented Swiss industry rebuilds around an answer to a question it could not answer in 1970. If a quartz watch is more accurate, cheaper to make, and never needs servicing, what is a mechanical watch for? The answer it eventually reaches is not about timekeeping at all. A mechanical watch is a declaration that the way something is made still matters. It is the decision to carry inside your wrist a miniature machine that required a human being to imagine it, build it, and regulate it, and to consider that worth doing in a world that had moved on. The luxury mechanical segment thrives on precisely this logic today. Swiss watch exports stand at nearly 25 billion Swiss francs annually. Employment in the industry has recovered to more than 60,000 workers. The Swatch Group is the largest watch manufacturer on Earth. By one measure, that is a full recovery. By another measure, the 60,000 jobs that vanished, the towns that emptied and did not fill again, the craft knowledge that walked out of those Jura workshops and was never written down, it is something more complicated and more honest than a recovery. Stand at the edge of La Chaux de Fonds at dusk. The stone buildings are still there. Some of the workshops still have lit windows. The mountains have not moved. Close your eyes. Listen for the click of an escapement from an atelier on the street above you, the soft scratch of a regulating tool against a balanced staff. 3 generations of one family at the same bench, making something too small to see without a loop, sending it to an assembler in the next valley, knowing, with the absolute certainty of craft, that what they are making is the finest thing in the world. Open your eyes. The technology that made that certainty obsolete was invented, first, in Switzerland. The Centre Electronique Horloger had a working quartz wristwatch prototype in 1967. The engineers who built it understood exactly what they had. The institutions above them chose to protect the present rather than build the future. And the men and women at the benches of the Jura paid for that choice across 20 years of closed factories and emptied towns. We did not lose this to better competition. We lost it to the distance between what the engineers already knew and what the people above them were willing to do. If this story sat with you, subscribe to the channel and like the video. There's a lot more coming.